Welcome to the Mark Side. Today I'm coming to you from the office, uncensored, unfiltered, and totally unplanned. I'd mentioned earlier in another video I was going to do something about the driving here in Da Nang because it has become more of an issue since the city has gotten a lot more crowded over the last 3 years. But today, just on the way to the office, a little incident occurred that made me think, well, maybe I'll just start to hit on that topic a little bit. In the last 3 months, I've been hit 3 times. And in 3 years have had numerous brushbacks, which if you know baseball, the pitcher throws it just close enough to you that you're scared and you move. Well, those type of things happen daily here out on the road, especially when you're on your motor scooter. Driving in traffic and putting up with clueless drivers has always been a pet peeve of mine, even back in the States. But since we're in a car with the windows up, nobody can hear the select adjectives you're using to describe the quality of their driving or what type of human being they are when they, cut you off without using their blinker or something along those lines. But here in Southeast Asia, you're most of the time on a motorbike. So when you're next to someone and you're yelling at them, they know you're yelling at them. But probably fortunately for me, they don't understand the slang I'm probably using or any of the English anyway. But things have gotten a lot more dangerous on the roads in the last 3 years. I've seen a lot more accidents. Some happen in front of you and others you drive by when the mayhem has already occurred. I think I said in the last video that I was fortunate to get here and learn how to be comfortable on a motorbike 3 years ago when there was not a lot of traffic. Now, as busy as the roads are, and believe me, compared to Saigon or Hanoi, and I'm sure Bangkok, where I've never driven around, and other cities in Southeast Asia, Da Nang is not crowded. But compared to where it was 3 years ago, it's gotten a lot more crowded, and you just have to keep your head on a swivel, and you have to go slow because you never know here what the other driver is going to do. Literally every road rule that we learn in the West, of course I can only speak of the United States, every rule of driving is broken here on a daily basis. And I was doing a lot of it before it got so crowded. Because when you roll up to an intersection of 2 6-lane roads and you can see half a mile in every direction and you can't even see another vehicle, you will go through that red light. Those times have changed. Now you have to have your head on that swivel, you have to be more aware, and just be more cautious. Even when I had an accident that was not my fault, a young lady on a motor scooter ran into the side of my car. She was not looking where she was going. I had my head looking at the rearview mirror just for an instant. Otherwise, I may have seen her coming and moved or hit the brakes. But she ran into the front left corner of my car. She went down on the motor scooter, scraped her knees, and I knew I wasn't at fault, but being a visitor in another country and being a foreigner, well, number one, of course, I felt horrible about the accident, but I didn't want any confrontation. I didn't know what anybody was going to think, but it turns out that all the people that ran out to help her, as well as myself, were more concerned about her, and her parents eventually came very quickly, so I think it was quite close to her home. And I was just like, I'm the outsider here. Are they gonna gang up, mob me, start beating me with sticks or kick my ass? but nobody even looked at me. It was all about making sure she was okay. I ended up giving them some money to get medicine for her scrapes and cuts because I felt horrible. And then I went on my way, and I thought to myself, maybe the reason nobody looked at me, and I don't know for sure, is that she was quite young. And this is a crazy rule of the road in Vietnam. Teenagers, 13, 14, 15, 16, are legally allowed to drive scooters on the same roads that you would drive a pickup truck, an 18-wheeler, a regular car, and a full-size motor scooter, as long as they are a small electric scooter. This I don't understand. That electric scooter can still go plenty fast, and they're still too young to understand the implications of quality driving, being cautious, and following the rules. So I've had a lot of close encounters with teenagers on motor scooters, because even though it's electric, they're still out on the same road that the rest of us are on with much bigger vehicles. I don't understand that law, but it's the law. And I know the motor scooter that this gal was on was a motorized, a gasoline powered, which means if she was under maybe 18 or 21, she was not driving legally when she ran into me. That might be why they didn't pay any attention to me. They didn't want her to get into any trouble. But she had scraped elbows and scraped knees. Hopefully she's fine by now. But it really makes you concerned, again, having any type of an issue other than just a wonderful, relaxing, fun-filled retirement when you're in another country. So as I said, I was going to save the driving video for another time and actually do a drive around to give you some live understanding of some of the issues that we face. But something happened today which is quite typical, and it started off really bad, and well, you'll see how it ended up. As I turned down the main beach boulevard to come over here to the office, I am in the office today. I'm sitting in my friend's beachfront bar restaurant that I've been calling my office jokingly for the last 3 years. But now, with a new YouTube channel, this actually is my office. Here I am working. This is my view, and I apologize. This is the only way I know to turn the camera and show you. But this is my view. Maybe you can see off in the distance the very famous Lady Buddha out on Sun Cha Peninsula. But here's the amazing beach. A little bit of low tide for more beach than normal, but absolutely beautiful. The wind coming in off the ocean. Today it's actually cool here. So coming to you from the office, and as I turn from a side street onto the beach boulevard, which is 3 lanes in either direction, there was a motor scooter in what we would call the passing lane in the west, which is dedicated to cars and trucks. The curbside lane is typically for motor scooters, and they stick to that. But in front of me was a motor scooter going too slow for that lane, shouldn't have been in that lane, and what's worse, the person was talking on their cell phone while they were driving. Very common in Vietnam, which is probably why a delivery Grab driver, which is like an Uber driver in the States, ran into the back of my car 3 weeks ago while I was sitting parked next to the curb. A lot of distracted driving here. Anyway, I started beeping, which is very common for Southeast Asia. You've seen the videos, massive beeping in any crowded traffic situation from Bangkok to the Philippines to Vietnam. I started beeping, and this person wasn't reacting to get over. I got up closer, beeping, nothing, so I just laid on the horn constantly. Still nothing, just driving along like nobody else existed on the road. So I pulled around them, past them, and the fella, now I realize, was an expat, and quite a large expat. And he looked at me, and now he's screaming and yelling. I had my windows up with air conditioning on. My windows are tinted. I just kept going. Well, now he speeds up. He's alongside of me. He's quite agitated with the screaming and the yelling and the pointing my finger. I just kept going. He sped up ahead of me, stopped his car, stopped his motorbike, got off of it right at the driveway where I was turning in to the parking area for the office here. So I just kept going, went around, parked in front, and here he comes. The helmet's off, and the body language was aggressive. And I just looked at him and said, "Hey man, you want to go get a beer?" And he's like, "Oh my God, I'm so sorry. I was talking to my mother and this and that." And I said, "Look, I apologize, but I've lived here 3 years, and what you did was something that the Vietnamese do all the time anyway." We were good friends, exchanging phone numbers within 2 minutes. "Where are you from?" He said, "San Diego." I'm like, "Oh my gosh, I used to live in Encinitas." We exchanged numbers. We'll probably have a beer. He's traveling. And that's the happy ending. 20 years ago, when I was a lot less mature and relaxed, it probably would have gone to blows in the parking lot. But those days are over. So just a little window into what good and bad driving doesn't look like here in Da Nang, Vietnam. There will be more to come. You just have to go slow and have your head on a swivel, and I'm sure that applies to anywhere in Southeast Asia, especially when you're new to driving a motor scooter if you're just visiting for a while. So stay tuned for more fun and adventure to come, and we'll see you next time on the Mark Side.